Can Ferrari really make Hamilton a champion again? Many say no, but there is a plan behind all this that might surprise you. Before I tell you, tell me in the comments. Do you think Hamilton can win the title with Ferrari? Because what I'm about to show you changes the whole perspective. Ferrari has opted for a risky approach with the SF25. According to Frédéric Vasseur, this car is practically a new car, with less than 10% of its components inherited from the SF24. The reason behind this decision is not a simple aesthetic change, but a direct response to the problems that limited the team in 2024. High-speed cornering performance, aerodynamic efficiency, and thermal management of the hybrid engine were critical points that Ferrari had to solve if it wanted to be a real contender in 2025. The SF25 has shown promising improvements in early testing. The data from Barcelona and Bahrain indicate that the car has gained 8% more downforce compared to its predecessor. This increase is due to a new, narrower rear wing profile and a completely redesigned diffuser, with the aim of maximizing ground effect without compromising stability in fast corners. However, a more efficient car does not always mean an easier car to drive. Ferrari has also implemented an update to the rear suspension, inspired by the solution used by Red Bull in 2024. This change seeks to improve the stability of the car under braking and acceleration, two key areas where Hamilton has historically known how to make the difference over his rivals. But any innovation carries risks, and Ferrari has already faced its first setbacks. During the second day of testing in Barcelona, Hamilton lost control at turn 3, hitting the barriers. According to the team's data, the accident was due to a combination of an overly aggressive setting on the front wing and an unexpected gust of crosswind. Beyond the accident, the team has detected other areas that still require adjustments. In race simulations, the SF25 has proven to be more efficient at managing tire wear compared to its predecessor, but it still shows some inconsistency in delivering electric power during overtaking. To address this, Ferrari has developed new energy management software that seeks to optimize the response of the hybrid system. The big question is whether this radically different concept will be enough to close the gap with Red Bull and McLaren. In theory, Ferrari has taken a step forward in terms of aerodynamic efficiency and strategic flexibility, but there are still question marks over the reliability of the car. 3 failures in the energy recovery system during testing forced the car to stop on several occasions, raising uncertainty over whether these problems could be repeated during the season. The SF25 is an ambitious project that could mark a turning point in Ferrari's recent history, but it also represents a huge risk. If the team manages to solve the reliability problems and Hamilton manages to adapt his driving style to the particularities of the car, Ferrari could become a real threat to Red Bull. Otherwise, this gamble could cost the team another year of frustration. Ferrari is in a unique situation with its driver lineup for 2025. The arrival of Lewis Hamilton to the team not only represents a technical challenge, but also introduces a new dynamic in the relationship between drivers. Charles Leclerc has been the reference at Ferrari for the past few years, consolidating himself as the great bet for the future. However, he must now share the garage with a 7-time world champion who arrives with a winning mentality and a completely different approach than Ferrari has managed in the past. From the first moment, the team has tried to manage this coexistence in the best possible way. To minimize Hamilton's adaptation time, Ferrari designed a 3-phase integration program, starting with intensive simulator sessions at Maranello. During January, Hamilton spent more than 72 hours in the simulator, working with the engineers to understand the characteristics of the SF25. His main challenge was adapting to a car that tends to understeer, something that has not been common in the cars he has driven in recent years with Mercedes. The next step was private testing at Fiorano, where Ferrari used a modified SF23 chassis to simulate the behavior of the SF25. Over 2 days of testing, Hamilton completed 367 kilometers, recording competitive times compared to Leclerc. According to the team's data, the gap between the two drivers was minimal, with Hamilton within 0.3% of Leclerc in lap times. This showed a rapid adaptation by the Briton, although there was still room for improvement in the synchronization of braking with the aerodynamic balance of the car. The big test came at the official tests in Bahrain, where Hamilton had the opportunity to drive the SF25 in real race conditions. Over the 3 days of testing, he completed 412 laps and showed steady progress. His best lap time was 1 minute and 29.379 seconds on C3 tires, just 0.031 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, now at Williams. While test times do not always reflect actual race performance, this result confirmed that Hamilton was performing at the expected level. But the real key to this relationship lies in the data obtained in race simulations. In long stints, Hamilton showed an average advantage of 0.15 seconds per lap over Leclerc. This margin may seem small, but in Formula One, every tenth of a second is crucial. Analysts attribute this difference to Hamilton's experience in tire management, an area in which he has excelled throughout his career. In high degradation conditions, his ability to extend tire life has allowed him to maintain a more stable pace compared to his teammate. Despite this data, the relationship between the two drivers remains an unknown. Officially, both Hamilton and Leclerc have declared that the collaboration between them is positive. Leclerc has stressed that working with Hamilton has allowed the team to identify aspects of the car that had not been considered before, while Hamilton has acknowledged that having a teammate of Leclerc's speed forces him to constantly raise his level. However, behind these diplomatic statements, there are signs that internal rivalry may intensify. During testing in Bahrain, differences were detected in the settings that each driver preferred. While Leclerc opted for a more aggressive setting in the brake distribution and electronic differential, Hamilton leaned towards a more stable setup to favor traction on corner exit. These differences may seem minor, but they reflect two different driving styles that could generate tensions throughout the season if Ferrari does not manage the allocation of resources and strategies in the race correctly. Another key point will be the hierarchy within the team. Ferrari has historically favored one driver over the other in key situations, and Hamilton's arrival could change the internal balance. If the Briton starts the season with better results, the team is likely to give him priority in strategies and upgrades, which could create an environment of direct competition with Leclerc. It is still early to predict how this relationship will evolve, but early indications show that Ferrari has on its hands an explosive duo. If they manage to work together, they can be a real threat to Red Bull. But if internal tension increases, Ferrari could face the same problem that other teams have suffered in the past when they have had two top drivers fighting for the same position. Ferrari has worked intensively to develop a car that can compete at the highest level in 2025. The SF25 is the result of a complete restructuring of the Scuderia's aerodynamic and mechanical concept. With only 10% of parts in common with its predecessor, the objective was clear: correct the deficiencies of the SF24 and create a car that is more efficient in fast corners, more stable under braking, and with a hybrid system optimized for better power delivery. One of the highlights of the SF25 is its upgraded engine. Ferrari has managed to increase the energy efficiency of the V6 hybrid powertrain by 17% compared to the 2024 version. This translates into lower fuel consumption in ICE mode and greater sustained electric power delivery in key situations, such as overtaking and corner exits. In addition, work has been done to reduce the latency in the energy delivery of the recuperation system, allowing for more instantaneous acceleration without compromising the stability of the car. In terms of aerodynamics, the SF25 has shown superior performance on circuits with fast corners. Telemetry data indicates that the car's new design allows it to lose 0.08 seconds less per lap on high-speed sections compared to its predecessor. This has been made possible by a 12 mm reduction in the center of gravity and a redesign of the rear diffuser, which maximizes ground effect without compromising stability at corner exit. On circuits such as Silverstone or Suzuka, where aerodynamic efficiency is crucial, this factor could make a key difference in the fight for victory. Another point in favor of the SF25 is its strategic flexibility. During testing in Bahrain, Ferrari tried 3 different aerodynamic configurations in a single day, a range of adjustment that could be decisive in races with changing conditions. This adaptability would allow the team to modify the behavior of the car according to the characteristics of each circuit and the driving style of its drivers. Despite these improvements, the SF25 still faces several challenges. Reliability has been one of the team's biggest concerns, especially when it comes to the hybrid system's electronics. During testing, the car suffered 3 failures in the energy recovery system (ERS), forcing the sessions to be stopped and the power unit to be completely restarted. These interruptions cost the team 47 minutes of track time in total, a time margin that could be critical on a race weekend. Another issue detected has been the thermal sensitivity of the brake system. On circuits with high braking demand such as Montreal, the data indicated accelerated degradation of the discs, leading to a loss of up to 0.4 seconds per lap after 10 intense laps. Ferrari is working on improving the brake cooling system, but if this problem is not solved before the start of the season, it could become a major obstacle in races with high temperatures. Hamilton also faces his own adaptation process to the SF25. Although his test times have been competitive, telemetry reveals that he is still not perfectly synchronizing his braking points with the aerodynamic balance of the car, especially in tight corners. This is because Ferrari has designed a car with a more pronounced tendency to understeer than the Mercedes cars Hamilton was used to. To reach its maximum performance, the Briton will have to slightly modify his driving style and adjust his technique on corner entry. The SF25 is an ambitious project with great potential, but there are still questions about its performance in race conditions. If Ferrari manages to solve the reliability problems and optimize brake wear, this car could be the team's best weapon in years. However, any failure in these aspects could compromise its chances of victory and make the fight against Red Bull and McLaren more difficult. The SF25 is undoubtedly the most ambitious car that Ferrari has developed in recent years. With an almost total overhaul of its design, the Scuderia has set out to correct the mistakes of the past and create a car that can compete at the highest level. On paper, improvements to aerodynamics, the hybrid engine and stability in fast corners give Ferrari significant room for improvement compared to 2024. But the big question remains whether these changes will be enough to challenge Red Bull and McLaren from the first race. Ferrari's plan with Hamilton has been meticulous and has proven effective in terms of adaptation. Within weeks, the Briton has achieved times comparable to Leclerc, and his performance in race simulations suggests that his experience in tire management could be a determining factor in the team's strategies. However, testing has also revealed areas that still need work, such as the synchronization between Hamilton's braking style and the aerodynamic balance of the SF25. If he fails to fine-tune this aspect before the start of the season, he could face a longer adaptation period than expected. Another aspect that could define Ferrari's success or failure in 2025 is the relationship between its drivers. Leclerc has been the team's undisputed leader in recent seasons, but now he has a driver with 7 world championships and an all-out competition mentality at his side. The first signs indicate that there is mutual respect and a willingness to collaborate, but in Formula One, the coexistence between two top-level drivers can become complicated when the fight for victories and the championship comes into play. If the internal rivalry intensifies, Ferrari could face a battle that will not only be fought on the track, but also within the team. In technical terms, the SF25 has all the potential to become a serious contender, but there are still unknowns surrounding its reliability. Failures in the energy recovery system and accelerated brake degradation are problems that can compromise performance in race conditions. Ferrari have shown flexibility in their approach, trying multiple aerodynamic configurations and strategic adjustments in testing, suggesting the team is prepared to adapt to different scenarios. But if they fail to resolve these issues before the start of the season, they could be forced to play defense in the first few races. Hamilton's arrival at Ferrari is not just a change of team, it is a move that could redefine the future of the team. If the plan works, Ferrari could be in a position to fight for their first drivers' championship in more than 15 years. But if technical problems persist and the dynamic between the drivers becomes complicated, this ambitious project could become another disappointment for the Scuderia's fans. The start of the season will be key to measuring Ferrari's true potential. The first races will tell us if the SF25 is a winning car or if it is still a development project. Now the question is clear. Do Hamilton and Ferrari have what it takes to challenge Red Bull and McLaren in 2025? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more analysis like this, subscribe because details are coming that could change the entire Formula One landscape.